Hey, my name is Hyatt Gonzer, and I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of camping and living outside. I've gone through a bunch of different periods in my life where I've lived kind of homeless, homeless by choice, where I'm just usually in bigger cities, just finding little like woodsy areas within the city where I can just sort of stealth camp, set up a hammock or a tent, and just kind of live there under the radar. And yeah, I don't know. It feels like it fits my lifestyle a lot in the sense that feel really like I can feel really claustrophobic and stuck when I'm inside, like when I'm living in a building, an apartment, or even a home. At certain points, I just feel like I need to get out and sleep outside. And sometimes, even when I am living in like a structured home, I often still will like sometime a few times a month, just on maybe like a weekend or something, go out and find a little woodsy area near my home and just like set up a hammock and sleep there for a few days just because I feel like it's like recharges me and kind of helps me get back to feeling alive and in tune with nature. And I think it brings a lot of health benefits. So, yeah, the first benefit that I notice a lot from sleeping outside is that I just get better quality sleep. I feel like the air quality has a lot to do with that because even when I'm sleeping at home, I like to at least crack a window or a door or something like that, leave something open to where air from outside can flow in all night. And I notice when I just do that, like I sleep better and I have usually more vivid dreams. Um, and I feel more rejuvenated in the morning just by cracking open a window. Even if it's like freezing outside, I typically will still choose to crack open something and just like layer up with blankets and be able to breathe fresh air and be a little cold. Typically, I prefer that than not have any fresh air flow at all. And when I'm sleeping outside, I just wake up feeling less stuffy. Sometimes inside of a home, I wake up and I just feel um, stuffy, like things are just sort of backed up and congested a lot in my face. And when I'm sleeping outside, it feels like I'm more clear headed when I wake up, and I feel a lot more motivated in the morning to just get up and start doing things. Typically, I'm also waking up because I can see the sunlight coming up, and that helps me to just get up right away. And I'm just getting up right into nature with the trees. And so that feels good to just like hop out of bed and feel motivated to like go on a walk or a bike ride or start doing some kind of work. Where when I'm sleeping at home, a lot of the time I can sleep in for a lot longer and feel like I need more rest. And even if I get more rest, I don't feel quite as rejuvenated. I feel more tired throughout the day than if I'm outside all the time. I also just have a lot more appreciation for nature. When I'm sleeping in it, I'm like hanging on the trees. I'm kind of with the dirt and the animals. There's a lot of like critters and animals that come up, which can kind of be a little scary at first if you've never camped out before and you haven't spent a lot of time sleeping outside. Um, you'll hear things like birds or squirrels crawling around, and you might just like over dramatize it in your head, and it can be a little freaky and think that it's some like big creature out there, or even like a person walking around, like police officer or something like that. And that's happened to me before as well. But usually it's just like a squirrel or a bird that's like hopping on some leaves and sticks. And I like that I can just really live simply. I I like that I don't feel a whole lot of fear around being homeless or if something catastrophic happens in my life. I mean, I rarely ever have a whole lot of money as it is, but if I have no option and can't stay anywhere, I feel pretty confident that I can just kind of go live somewhere, whether it's a city or outside of a city. there's not a lot of fear there. It's like, I'm staying at, I'm in a new relationship, and so I'm staying at my girlfriend's apartment right now. But, if I ever had to leave here, or I just like got kicked out on no notice or something like that, then I could be like, okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna like go find myself a spot somewhere and, just kind of recollect myself. And I think that's really just important for your soul and your well being, and your quality of life to go out and spend time in nature and to sleep and camp in nature, even if it's just like maybe for one weekend a month. I think it's a great reset, and I think it helps you realize certain things that you're probably oblivious to. Even if you know the benefits of camping and being outside, it's like it just doesn't really hit you until you're actually out there and you're like, oh my God, I forgot how good this is and how much better I feel when I'm out here. It's kind of like with raw food. For me, it's like I forget all the benefits. I don't forget them, but it's like I just can't appreciate them as much, all the benefits of eating raw, until I'm finally like, just like, okay, I'm going to do it again. And then it hits me. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how could I have ever stopped doing this? This is the best. I feel so good. And it's kind of the same way with camping and sleeping outside and living out in nature. And when I say living out in nature, I'm like usually doing it in bigger cities where it's like I'm sleeping outside and I'm kind of doing things outdoors and in parks a lot of the time, but I'm also kind of like working and I'm charging my phone and like using the internet, and like I'll wake up in the woods, but then I'll like walk across the street and get a kombucha from the convenience store or something. So it's not like I'm deep in nature like a wild man. The other thing is that, you don't have to pay for it. Nature's kind of just like sitting there, supporting you, letting you stay. It's one of the only places where I felt like really free to be myself and feel my feelings without judgment. Nature doesn't really judge you, at least not like overtly that we know of. For me, it feels like I can just kind of do what I want, express myself, dance or cry or yell in nature, and it just kind of holds me and lets me do what I need to do. And so that can be really relieving and freeing, to just feel that level of acceptance. And yeah, free rent doesn't cost anything, which is super appealing because rent is, unless you like have your own business or you're just working a lot to make a lot of money for the most part, or you spent a lot of time setting up some kind of passive income that probably also took a lot of work and time. You got to work a lot, and it's just really difficult for me to feel like I have to be stuck in some kind of lease agreement, or like I have to pay bills every month. That can be really difficult for me. So, if that feels difficult for you, like this is a great, I think, idea to at least go try something like this out. Just go find some woods around your area and just like go sleep there for a couple days and see how it feels, um, and see how well you can do on your own, without needing to really pay for anything. Of course, food is still kind of an issue because it's not like there's a whole lot of abundance in most places to just go out and forage if you're vegan, for like fruits and vegetables and things like that. So typically you're still going to be spending money on food, and you have to figure that out. And there's also kind of just this really cool awesomeness, of being out in nature, where like the weather can get really bad. It can get windy, it can get really cold, it can storm and like rain for days at a time, and you just kind of have to like be in it, um, and figure out how you're going to deal with that. And typically, you'll survive and figure something out. And I don't know, I think it can be, for one, a good lesson on how you can survive even better in the future, and become a more solid sort of human being, and just like really independent and be ready for most situations. And there's also just like a beauty. It can be, scary, but also beautiful at the same time to be like in some roaring thunderstorm, um, and being almost freaked out and a little like scared and like what am I gonna do and like what am I doing with my life, and it kind of like it brings you to this deep place in yourself, I think, that can actually feel kind of like connecting to God and to your primal self. And I have some vlogs about some of my experiences and like sort of day in the life videos of when I've been homeless and living on the street and just like camping as a lifestyle. So you can try and find those if you're curious about kind of what I do in a day and my some of my sleep setups and how I've done it in the past. If you're curious or want inspiration on that. And yeah, I think I want to encourage people to just spend more time out in nature, whether it's going for walks or just like getting lost in some woods, kind of being a curious little kid again, and just like exploring for the sake of exploring because it's fun, and like getting deep in some trees and like wooded areas like that. And probably even try sleeping in it. It feels really good to sleep out in nature. And sometimes that's like all the medicine that we need is just like a good night's sleep with nature. I find it so helpful for me, and just like a reboot. And I notice myself kind of craving that a little bit at the moment. Like, okay, it's time to go get out and do that again. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk with you in the next video.